An ancient octopus, larger than any documented species, circled a rusted metal cage that shouldn't exist at this depth. Inside, a young dolphin thrashed against the corroding bars, its clicks growing weaker with each passing moment. The octopus had been trying for hours, its 8 arms probing every gap, every weakness in the structure that was slowly sinking deeper into the abyss where sunlight dies and pressure crushes bone. Without warning, the cage lurched downward, caught in a sudden thermocline shift. The dolphin's panicked squeals pierced the water, a sound that traveled through the ocean like a distress beacon cutting through the darkness. The octopus surged forward, its body pulsing with bioluminescent patterns, ancient communication older than human language. Every tentacle became a tool of desperate salvation. It wrapped around the cage, pulling upward with strength that defied its fluid form. The ocean floor trembled beneath them as the octopus fought against physics itself, its suckers gripping, releasing, searching for leverage that didn't exist. For a fleeting second, the cage stabilized on a rocky outcrop, wedged between 2 volcanic formations. The descent stopped, but the reprieve was an illusion. Metal groaned against stone, and hairline fractures spread across the oxygen tank like spider webs predicting collapse. The octopus pressed its mantle against the bars, and in that moment, something extraordinary happened. Its eye, massive, alien, yet somehow familiar, locked with the dolphin's. The creature that had survived millions of years in absolute darkness was now witnessing a death it couldn't prevent. Its arms trembled, not from exhaustion, but from something deeper. Scientists call it mirror neurons, but in this lightless world, it looked like prayer. It was grief rendered visible, a portrait of powerlessness painted in bioluminescent blues and purples. The cage was wedged 200 meters down where human lungs would implode in seconds. The octopus's strength, though immense, was biology, not magic. Its arms could manipulate, could solve puzzles that baffled researchers, but they couldn't bend steel. Every color flash across its skin was futile Morse code to an empty ocean. Here's a question that will haunt you. Have you ever watched someone you love slip away, knowing your hands, no matter how many you have, simply aren't enough? If that thought grips your chest, let this story grip others. Hit that like button. But here's what the scientists never tell you about Octopi. They don't just react, they calculate. They plan. And this one's brain, distributed across its entire body like a network of desperate hope, was about to make a decision that would rewrite every rule in the book. The octopus had tried everything nature designed it for. It had pulled, pried, wrapped, and unwrapped. Its arms had tested every angle, every approach the ocean had taught its ancestors. But now, its primary eye shifted upward, tracking movement in the water column above. A beam of artificial light cut through the blue, harsh, unnatural, dangerous. And in that moment, the octopus did something that violated 300 million years of evolutionary programming. It swam toward the predator, toward the human. Can you imagine the choice? Trust the species that hunts you, or watch innocents drown. This wasn't instinct. This was something that transcends survival. This was love in its highest form, the kind that says, I will risk annihilation if there's even a chance. The octopus didn't swim, it launched. Its body jetted upward through the water column, arms trailing behind like ribbons of living desperation, racing toward the light that every cell in its body screamed to avoid. Marcus had been diving these waters for 15 years, documenting wrecks that time forgot. But when that massive shape rocketed toward him out of the darkness, his first instinct wasn't curiosity, it was survival. His hand moved to his knife. Every documentary he'd ever watched said octopi this size were territorial, aggressive. His brain screamed threat. His body prepared for defense. Then it stopped. 3 meters away, the octopus halted its approach. Its arms didn't lash out, they curled inward. Its color shifted from aggressive red to soft, pulsing amber. And then it did something Marcus would later struggle to explain in his report. It bowed. Not metaphorically. It literally compressed its mantle and lowered its body. Its keening wasn't a roar of dominance. It was a mother's whimper translated across species. Marcus felt his chest tighten with recognition. This wasn't aggression. This is begging. Evolutionary biologists call it oxytocin, but Marcus called it what it was: terror wearing a mother's face. The octopus pulsed once, a deep blue that lit up the surrounding water, then turned and began swimming downward, slowly, deliberately, looking back every few seconds to see if he was following. She was asking the question no wild creature should ever ask a human. Do I trust you with what I love most? Or do I watch it die alone? That choice, that impossible, beautiful, terrifying choice, is what connection looks like in its purest form. If this story makes your soul ache in the best way, share it. Let others remember what trust really costs. Marcus checked his air gauge, 38 minutes remaining, then kicked downward into the growing darkness. His dive computer screamed warnings about depth, about nitrogen narcosis, about decompression times that would require every second of his remaining tank. But the octopus was already disappearing into the blue, black below, and something older than caution pulled him forward. At 200 meters, his light found them. The cage hung at an angle that spelled disaster, and inside, the dolphin had stopped struggling. Its eyes were glazed, movements reduced to faint tremors. The octopus hovered beside the cage, one arm extended toward Marcus, gesturing. There was no other word for it. At a specific point where the bars had corroded thin, Marcus's hands shook as he pulled out his cutting torch. The cold at this depth wasn't just temperature. It was pressure condensed into sensation, seeping through his wetsuit like liquid night. He positioned the torch, squeezed the trigger, and sparks erupted in slow motion underwater fireworks. The octopus wrapped its arms around the upper portion of the cage, and Marcus realized with a start she was stabilizing it, preventing vibrations from his cutting from dislodging the structure. They were working together. Predator and prey, mammal and mollusk, operating on a frequency that had no name in any language. The bar gave way with a groan that reverberated through the water. Marcus dropped the torch and reached in, his gloved hands closing around something impossibly fragile, the dolphin's dorsal fin. He pulled, and the octopus pushed from the opposite side, arms threading through the opening to guide the small body through the gap. Then came the ascent. Marcus held the dolphin against his chest, feeling the faint, irregular heartbeat through his glove. The octopus flanked them, its arms creating a living shield against the current, guiding them toward a shallower ledge where Marcus could work. Every meter upward was a negotiation with physics. Rise too fast, and nitrogen bubbles would kill them both. Too slow, and the dolphin would run out of seconds before Marcus ran out of air. At 50 meters, Marcus found a plateau. He laid the dolphin on the rock and began compressions, his hands pumping against ribs he could feel too clearly. 1, 2, 3. The octopus draped two arms over the dolphin's body, not restraining, but cradling, its suckers making contact so gentle it looked like prayer rendered physical. Come on, Marcus thought, pushing harder. Come on, kid. 5, 6. The dolphin's eye fluttered, then its blowhole gasped. A violent, beautiful inhale that sent bubbles spiraling upward like released souls. It shuddered, then chirped. A weak, questioning sound that translated in every language as Mom. The octopus didn't hesitate. All 8 arms wrapped around the dolphin in an embrace that blurred the line between species. Colors rippled across its skin, joy rendered visible in chromatic waves, and the dolphin pressed into that embrace with the trust of something that had forgotten fear. Marcus floated there, watching, his air gauge hitting red, and thought this is what we keep destroying. This is what we can't afford to lose. He surfaced with them, the octopus guiding the weakened dolphin upward with movements so tender they looked choreographed. At the surface, sunlight hit them like a benediction. The dolphin breached once, small, weak, but alive, and the octopus released it with what could only be described as reluctance. Then, before Marcus could even reach for a camera, she descended, back into the darkness that had birthed her. Her final color pulse was golden, gratitude, maybe, or farewell, or perhaps just acknowledgement. You saw me. You helped. That's enough. Marcus traded water, watching the spot where she'd vanished, and realized he'd just witnessed something that would rewrite his understanding of consciousness itself. Not human intelligence, not animal instinct, something in between, or perhaps beyond. Empathy that transcended evolution. Trust that defied programming. Connection that existed because it had to, because the alternative was a world too dark to bear. This story isn't about animals acting like humans. It's about recognizing that humanity, real humanity, isn't exclusive to our species. It's about the moment when empathy overpowers domination, when connection defeats conflict, when a creature chooses risk over safety because love isn't a human invention. It's a universal language written in neurons and hearts and 8 armed embraces in the depths, where we rarely look. If this changed how you see the world beneath the waves, let it change someone else's too. Hit like. Explore the other stories of connections we almost missed. And remember, intelligence isn't measured by what you can take. It's measured by what you're willing to give.